everyone, this is Helloangel.design. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cute dress. It's for 1 to 2 years old child. I make a bow on the dress. You don't have to, for the bow is optional. If you want to, you can also make a bow which is really beautiful. This is the front of the dress and this is the back of the dress. You can even put the bow at the back of the dress. It will even look more cute once you're done making it. I have a lot of couples right here. This is another fabric of bow that I make on this dress. They are the same design, but the bow fabric is different. So when you're going to combine your dress, make sure that you're using the fabric that will match your made fabric. So this is how it is, the same design. The difference is just the bow. And I also make this one. You can use any fabric of your choice. They are all the same design. So for today, I'm going to show you how to make this. It's so easy, step-by-step tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Make a comment down below if you have any questions, and let's get started. I have already cut my fabric. So I'm going to use this to wrap the bow. This is my bow fabric. I will put the measurement on the description box below. And my sleeve. This is the tail for my bow to fabric. And this is my made fabric for the dress that you are making. So let's put the dress together. First thing that you have to do, you take your sleeve to your ironing board. You fold inside 1 centimeter. And then you fold it again 1 centimeter. Make sure you press along. So what you're going to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down, and you do the same thing with the second sleeve. So go ahead and hem your sleeve around. I have top stitched my sleeve. This is how it is. You can see that, how it finally look. The next thing that you have to do, you take your dress, you open it like this. This is the front of my dress. So what you're going to do, you're going to pin the sleeve on the armhole. You place it like this. Go ahead and pin it on the armhole. Once you have pinned it like this, then you take other pieces of your dress. You open it like this. This is the front of my fabric. And this is the front of my sleeve. So you're going to put them together like this. So you can see how it is. You put the both front dress together. You take the other side of the sleeve. You pin it on this side of the armhole. I have pinned it together. This is how it look right now. The next thing that you have to do, you take the other pieces of your sleeve, then you open your dress. So you're going to put the both sleeve together. You pin this side on the side of the armhole, and then you pin this other side on the side of the armhole of the dress. So go ahead and pin them together. I have pinned the sleeve together. This is how it look right now. You can see how it look. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. Just go ahead and stitch the sleeve together. Once you have done that, you can either use your sewing machine to zigzag to overlock the raw edges, or take it to your serger. Just go ahead and overlock the raw edges. So go ahead and stitch your sleeve together. I have stitched the sleeve together and I take it to my overlocker. You can see that I overlock all the raw edges. Make sure when you're overlocking the raw edges, you just overlock it to the end of the armhole. So the next thing that you have to do, put the both fabric together. Make sure both front fabric are facing each other. Just go ahead and pin the both side seam together. I have pinned the both sides seam together. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. You come to the other side, you do the same thing, give it a top stitch all the way down. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. So go ahead and top stitch. I have stitched the both side seam and I take it to my overlock. I just overlock all the raw edges. So I turn it inside out, take it to my ironing board and give it a good press. The next thing that you have to do, you can see the armhole of the dress. So what you're going to do, you fold the raw edges inside like this. You can either go ahead and pin them in place just like this. Once you pin them in place like this, what you're going to do, you can see your stitch line before you continue from there. Make sure to back stitch at the beginning, back stitch at the end. You continue from there, you stitch it all the way down, all the way to the other side of the sleeves. So you want the stitches to go around the armhole. You just stitch it all the way around like this to this other side, and then you take the other side of the sleeve, pin it together, continue from your stitch line before, stitch it all around to the other side of the sleeve. You can see where your stitches end right here. Make sure you back stitch at the beginning, back stitch at the end. So you want the stitches to go around and look very neat. So go ahead and stitch that in place. I have stitched around the both armhole. You can see my stitches right here. I just stitch it all around to this other side, and you will do the same thing on the other side of the armhole. This is how it finally looks. The next thing that you have to do, you are going to fold the raw edges inside around the neckline. So you take your dress to your ironing board, fold it inside 1 centimeter, and then fold it again 1.5 centimeter. Take your pin, pin it all around. As you can see, I have pinned mine all around. What you're going to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all around. Remember to leave a gap. So the gap that you will leave, that is where you're going to put your elastic around the neckline. So when you're stitching, you can place a different pin on your dress so that you know where you start stitching and you know where to end, so that you don't top stitch all around and you realize you didn't leave any gap. So go ahead, pin your neckline of your dress that you're making. Remember to leave a gap so that you can put your elastic. So go ahead and top stitch. I have top stitch around the neckline. So this is my gap right here that I left open. This is where I'm going to put my elastic. So place your office pin on your elastic. You just put it all around the neckline. So I will turn my dress and I will put it like this all around the neckline. So go ahead and do the same. I have put my elastic around the neckline. The next thing that you have to do, you're going to put them together like this. Take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch, back stitch 2 to 3 times to secure the stitches, and then push the elastic inside and stitch across the open gap. Once you have done that, then you take the tie. This will be for your bow that you're making. If you want to make a bow for your dress, what you're going to do, take your marker and your ruler, draw a diagonal across, because when you're going to stitch, you stitch a diagonal across and stitch it all the way down. Do not stitch this side because this is where you're going to turn it inside out. You do the same thing on the other side. Once you have done that, also take your bow fabric to your sewing machine. Give it a top stitch all around. So when we are going to turn the fabric inside out, we just give it a little cut in the middle of this fabric, and then that is how we are going to turn it around. So go ahead and top stitch. I have stitched the open gap. This is how it finally look right now. The next thing that you have to do, you're going to make your bow. This is where I turn my bow inside out. Then take it to your ironing board. Make sure you give it a nice press. Fold it into two like this. This is the mid part of my bow. So go ahead and thread your needle. So you're going to stitch along this mid part. Place your needle like this and just go ahead in and out. This is how your bow will look once you have done that. And then you put your tail together like this. So I'll put my tail together, put it across each other. I'm going to put it at the back of this bow, and I will use hand stitch to stitch that in place. So I have hand stitched my bow and the tie together. The next thing that you have to do, you take your piece of fabric. So this is my piece of fabric. So I want the seam to be facing up. I will place the fabric like this. And I will take it to my sewing machine and top stitch. So I will take it to my sewing machine and top stitch. Once I am done top stitching, I will turn the fabric inside out. The seam will be facing inside the bow. So once I am done with that, I will take my dress and I will place it on the dress like this. This is how I will put my bow on the dress. Once I have done with that, and I will also go ahead and hem the dress. So go ahead, stitch your bow. Make sure to stitch it across, turn it inside out, and the seam will be facing the bow. Stitch it on the dress. So go ahead and stitch that in place, and I will finally show you how it looks. This is the final look of my dress. This is how it finally looks. Has a winged sleeve. It's really beautiful. You can decide to make a bow or you can decide not to, and I just take it to my sewing machine and I hem the dress all around. This is how it finally looks once you have done making your own dress for your kids. It's so easy to make. It's not so difficult. If you want to make the pattern paper, I have made the pattern paper before on my channel. You can decide to shorten the sleeve, or you can decide to make the sleeve even longer to go around the armhole. So that is totally depends on you. For me, I just shorten the sleeve. I don't want the sleeve to go around the armhole. That is why I call this dress a winged butterfly dress, because the sleeve is like a wing. So this is how it finally looks. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Make a comment down below if you have any questions. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a beautiful day. Bye.